Welcome to another very lovely indeed podcast. This is podcast number 2, and I haven't uploaded this podcast yet. I actually have uploaded 9 other podcasts, and then I doubled back to upload this one. So this is number 2, and it's making me kind of nervous because I have the other podcasts after this already uploaded. I just haven't published them yet. So that's making me kind of nervous, especially, when I just kind of skim through to listen to the upcoming podcast. The podcast after this one, I sound angry. I don't sound like me. And I'm trying to be genuine and real and really keep it real and raw with these podcasts. But I don't like how I sound. And I'm letting you all know right now that I don't like how I sound. But I'm gonna publish these podcasts anyway. I've already recorded them. And I did them when I was in the moment with these podcasts. I was frustrated. I'm thinking about, this stuff that is being, thrown at me. And I was just frustrated, and I'm just getting it off my chest. And that's why it's called podcasting through my pain, because this is the stuff that pains me. So this podcast number 2 is basically just to give you the lineup of the podcasts that are coming. Some of the things that I have talked about. I have quite a few different podcasts, that I recorded. All of them are not going to make the cut. I can tell you right now. Some of them are just not going to make the cut. Like today I did a podcast for, giving my opinion and my feedback about this whole Orlando situation. That's kind of, it's something that I wanted to speak on, but I kind of feel like the way that I presented it is not going to be, what people would want or what they would expect. So I'm really hesitant on that. But I did do that. I did do an Orlando post because, of course, I had my own thoughts and opinion about the whole shooting and what this means for us as a people, and what I feel we need to do. Of course, I'm going to bring that into it. But anyway, this is podcast 2. And in podcast 1, the previous podcast, it was pretty much me just starting off with, the bulk of my pain. And I mentioned my sister, my lesbian sister has been a lifelong just thorn in my side. It's like I've said before, I feel like Cinderella. Cinderella had a evil stepmother and 2 evil stepsisters, and a lot of times that's what I feel like when I look at my family and my position, and I do have 2 half sisters and then my mother. Just the way that I've been treated over the years and growing up with them, and for the most part, I've stayed pretty silent about it. I didn't talk too much about what I felt or what I was going through to family or friends like that. When I was younger, 15, 16 years old, I used to actually talk to somebody about it. When I used to go to Cook County Hospital, I had a psychologist, and I was, I let my psychologist know what was up. But I'm not a person who is a big crybaby. I'm not one of those crybaby type of people. When I'm going through something, I deal with it on my own the best way that I can. Being weak and vulnerable is not my strong suit. It's not at all. So I don't approach things in a weak and vulnerable place. Especially when I know, it could be used against me later on. I don't, have that space and that security to be weak and vulnerable. And so I'm not. Basically, in a nutshell, that's just what I was saying. Okay. So I'm talking about my pain. Number 2, Number three, this is the next one that's coming up. The one that has me very nervous because I'm talking about my ex. Is the exes who I spoke with and what they said in light of whatever information that they received about me being in a relationship, which has absolutely nothing to do with them or any other man. Because one thing I don't do, I'm grown, I'm an adult. I don't juggle men back and forth. I don't do that. That was something I did when I was a child. I'm grown now, and when you become an adult, you put away childish things. So number 4, I'm talking about some of the women that I have dealt with who have also been a thorn in my side over the last few years. This is all recent, like from 2008 until now. 2 women in particular, because these 2 women really surprised me. They are both women over 60. So there's no way that a woman in her 60s should be having a conversation with me about a man at all. As far as competition wise, it's just ridiculous. Number 5, I'm actually talking about pain, and I do a little rapping on that on that podcast. I'm going to do a little Tupac, Pain. I know y'all know that one. And a little Brenda's Got a Baby. I think those are probably like my 2 favorite Tupac songs or whatever. And then in podcast number 6, I'm going to talk about my relationship goals and why it is that I want a petty relationship. That's right. Keep it petty, baby. Number 7, I'm going to talk about my one and only experience with envy, and what that was like for me, and why I can't be envious and envy doesn't fit me, how I got over envy. And I promised myself not to be in that position again, because it was all bad for me. It was bad for me. So I'm going to talk about my envy situation. And number 8 is another one that I'm kind of fuzzy about. Number 8, my podcast number 8, I'm talking about the pain of religion. But I think it's very important for me to be really real and really honest in some of these podcasts, because these are actually for me. You might be listening to these, but this is for me, for my own healing and developing myself and coming into being and all of the other stuff that I have planned down the line. This is really for me. So number 8 is talking about my pain with religion and all these pseudo-religious people in our world. But anywho, moving right along. Number 9, I am going to be talking about a company that is doing something great in the community. They're doing something wonderful to develop the community and to develop boys into men. And that whole podcast is developed, is committed to that topic. And I really want to actually be able to do like a lineup or a structure similar to this, where I've just laid out like 10 podcasts, and I want to be able to have like in every 10, I want to be able to have something about community development, and then also having one like number 10 where I'm actually giving you fellas some really good advice when dealing with women and dating women. Not just dating women, but like I said, also dealing with women, handling women, because I find that more often than not, so many of you men have been raised without the presence of a strong male figure. And so you kind of lost your way and don't really exactly understand what is needed of you as a man, dealing with so many women and having so many women around you. Quite frankly, there is going to be a lot of women who want you to act in a certain way, that they may not and most likely don't need, simply because it's a little power struggle and ego and control thing going on. But yeah. So number 10, I'm going to give you my top 3 criteria for choosing a woman. Excuse me. This is the top 3 criteria for you to choose a woman, not for me. Let me make this really, really clear for all the lurking lesbians who are listening to my podcast. Go lurk somewhere else, boo. I am not interested in having any type of romantic, sexual, or physical relationship with any woman of any kind at any time for any reason. Capiche? Capiche. So, in number 10, I will be talking to you men, you fellas, you straight men, about choosing the right woman, the top 3 criteria that will help you to make the right decisions and avoid all of these problems and all of these headaches out here in these relationships. So feel free to comment below.